Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend an apology dinner after my mother-in-law called me a bad mother at my son's funeral? I lost my son to congenital heart disease, and he did not survive the open heart surgery at the age of 1 year and 6 months. He was the greatest blessing I had in my life. Everyone kept telling me things will get easier with time. I know that no matter how much time goes by, I'll still be missing my baby and everything sweet about him. Mother-in-law and I were in constant conflict. Things always been bad between us, but in those months we reached our limit. She kept getting involved in my son's treatment and criticized every decision I made, claiming I didn't know how to handle my son's illness. We went low contact, but she kept causing issues occasionally. My husband was torn between our son's illness and his mother's issues. When my son passed away, she came to the funeral and caused a scene by arguing with me, knowing I had no energy for it. She used the fact that everyone was there so she could say it was my fault my son was born sick, and I didn't take care of him properly, that I didn't listen to her when she suggested other ways to treat his condition, and that I was the one who took their grandchild away from them and caused them heartache. She then loudly called me a bad mother. I had no idea how I kept my composure and kept standing on both feet. My mom and sisters responded by telling her to leave. My husband was sitting down crying. She then went to tell everyone I kicked her out as a way to hurt her further, and lied that I convinced my husband to ban her from visiting her grandson's grave. My husband later sent his side of family an email talking about my mother-in-law's behavior during and after our son's illness, and telling them he will no longer be seeing her. That had the family criticizing us, saying mother-in-law was just trying to do what was best for her grandbaby, and called us selfish for assuming we're the only ones struggling with this tragedy. We haven't seen his mom in 1 year and 8 months. I'm now 3 months pregnant. No one knew except my sister-in-law, brother-in-law's wife, but word got out, though we told her not to say anything. A week later, I had family members saying I was invited to a dinner hosted by mother-in-law so she could both apologize in front of the whole family and settle this issue before the baby's born. They said mother-in-law was regretful and offered to financially provide for her grandbaby, and they want to see that. I refused, but my husband surprisingly wants me to go. I had his grandparents calling me telling me that I'm a person with a good heart, and forgiveness is something I'm capable of giving. I told them I'll never be sitting at the same table with a person who called me a bad mother at my child's funeral. I still remember it vividly till this very day. My sister said this change of heart from mother-in-law is probably for the new baby. It could be, but I insisted I won't come. They're saying I'm making hard for everyone to move on and past this and resolve the pain and should really go. Now for the top comments. Not day home. I work in nursing in ICU and I see people like your mother-in-law often. You were done so dirty and no one, absolutely no one will understand what you and your husband went through and the kind of horrific choices you had to make. People like to think modern medicine can cure anything, and it's just not true. Treatments can be ugly, invasive, and even lethal, and I would never blame you for a second for trying anything possible to keep your baby in this world. I also wouldn't blame you for a second if you decided not to go through with some of these harsh treatments. There is no right answer in these situations. Only you get to decide. I'm so sorry for your loss, and that you had to go through that. Maybe I'm biased, because I see people like you at work, making decisions no one should ever have to make while getting yelled at by other family who won't even come to visit the freaking patient. Easy to throw stones when you don't have to make such heavy decisions. You are so within your rights to never forgive that woman. I hope the best for your current pregnancy, and I'm sure this little light will help remind you and your husband what familial love really is. I felt sick to my stomach reading this. The pure audacity of this woman is beyond words. I have 2 thankfully healthy boys, and imagining going through with them what you did with your son makes me want to cry. How heart-shatteringly lonely, lost, and utterly destroyed you and your husband must have felt with her acting like an idiot towards you, instead of being support you surely needed. She made your son's illness and tragic passing about herself, to posture in some weird way that if she had gotten to make the decisions, none of this would have happened. I'm assuming she's not a specialist doctor of some kind, so she had no footing to stand on. If she's a doctor, I'm at loss for words to describe how messed up that is too. I like the other poster suggestion. Make it clear to your husband that he is free to socialize with his mother, but it will never be in your shared home or in the presence of you or the baby. I feel this woman is unhinged enough to try to get grandparents' rights, Call CPS and you if you disagree with her on something. The money offers further manipulation to try to wrest even more control for herself. Oh, you won't let me actively undermine your parenting? No. No more money then. Not Day-Hull. Should be dead to me. F off into oblivion. My sister said this change of heart from mother-in-law is probably for the new baby. It absolutely is. She isn't sorry that she harassed stressed-out parents who are trying to manage the health care of a gravely ill baby. She isn't sorry that she berated a grieving mother at the baby's funeral. She is sorry that the consequences of her abhorrent behavior have led to her being denied access to a grandchild. There is absolute proof of this, and the fact that she wasn't sorry until she learned a new baby is on its way. Some things should not be forgiven, and frankly, her behavior falls into that category. You are not Day-Hull here and should not compromise. The only thing that matters for the next 6 months are your health and stress levels, and both can be best managed by immediately removing from your life anyone insisting on renewing contact with someone who abused you. You should tell your husband that no means no, and he's not to bring this up again. It's not up for discussion. Please also visit r/justknowmother-in-law for help on how to set boundaries and stick to them, and for the support you may need in doing so. First of all, thank you for taking the time to talk about my issue. I don't get enough people who can understand what I have been going through, especially now during my pregnancy. Some people expect me to be thrilled with no excuse like my pregnancy is supposed to erase or make up for my loss. It's the opposite. I worry too much over little issues, and to some it's normal, but I find myself stressing out all the time. I try to take it slow and continue with my therapy. I haven't directly talked to mother-in-law, but I have talked to everyone in the family. They keep saying she's sincere and wants nothing more than for us to be able to move past this conflict. I truly don't feel okay with the idea of having to sit with her at a dinner table after all she's said and done. No matter what her purpose is, I'm completely against it. My grief is still raw and I'm not ready to see her. I don't think I'll ever be. It might sound awful, but I'm not feeling I could give her what she wants. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to throw a party for my daughter's coming out? My female 44 mother died last week after a very long battle against cancer, and I'm completely devastated. She got pregnant with me after a very traumatic event, and despite the pressure from my grandparents and the trauma, she refused to have a termination. They threw her out when she was 16, with no money, no support, but that didn't deter her. And as far as I can remember, she has always been the greatest and most loving mother. She was my hero, my best friend, and I don't know how I will be able to overcome her death. 2 hours after my mother's death, my daughter Emily, female 20, decided that it was the perfect time to come out to cheer me up. Her words, not mine. I must admit that I was very unsettled by the loss of my mother, but I still tried to tell her that I was happy for her. Maybe not as happy as she expected, but I really tried to show her my love and support because she's my baby, and I want her to be happy and to know that I love her. The next day, she came to me saying that she forgave me for my attitude, and that she wanted to talk about the preparations for her coming out party. I was a little confused, but I asked her when she wanted to throw that party, and she said the coming Friday. I told her it was not possible because it was the day of her grandmother's funeral, that we could do it the next week, but not now. She was silent for a solid minute, and then all hell broke loose. She starts screaming at me, telling me that I'm a bad mother, as rotten as my grandparents, that I don't support her because I'm a freaking homophobic, that her girlfriend was right, that I'm a useless witch. I didn't even know that she had a girlfriend. I was so shocked I wasn't able to answer her, and it was my husband, alerted by the screams, who came and told her to leave our house immediately. Since that day, she refused to talk to me, my husband, or her brother. She doesn't answer our calls or messages, and she did not come to her grandmother's funeral. She told all her friends that I'm homophobic, that I've rejected her because of her true nature. All I can do is crying. I feel empty and heartbroken. Now I feel like an a-hole because I can't help but think that I was too focused on my pain, that I was not supportive enough, and maybe I should have made an effort and said yes for that party because it was important for my daughter. Everything is very confused right now, and I really need a different point of view. Not a-hole. You are grieving and you wanted to throw a party? She sounds like a very self-centered person. The worst. Not a-hole. Even if it wasn't a funeral, Are you obligated to throw a party about it anyway? I would say the expectation is that you accept her. She doesn't need a party. Not Dayhall. And when are you kicking out your 20-year-old ungrateful daughter? She'll spin it as homophobic. And who freaking cares? She's already done that. Your daughter, by what you describe, is a self-centered little brat who needs to be out on the street to see who really supports her. She forgave your attitude? WTF? Your mother just died and she moves the spotlight to her. Ridiculous. If my kid pulled out some BS like this, I'd give them 2 suitcases on the sidewalk with their clothes already packed. My daughter doesn't live with us, but we were helping her paying her rent because she lost one of her jobs and money's tight. Husband wants us to stop helping her. I know that he's right, and we will surely stop helping her. But I can't help but feeling bad. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband I won't be visiting his mother for Mother's Day? My husband is gone for military duties, and he called me today to ask if I would be going over next weekend to visit his mother for Mother's Day, to which I said no. Then I had to rehash what happened last year for my first Mother's Day. Backstory. Last year was my first Mother's Day. My baby girl was born September 2019, so May 2020 was my first Mother's Day. During a pandemic. My husband spent the day with me, but his mother called him and complained that we had not gone over to her house for Mother's Day. I told him he was more than welcome to go, but the baby and I were staying home and hanging out and enjoying my first Mother's Day. He had gone to his mother's on Friday for Mexican Mother's Day. I ordered her Mother's Day card and flowers and he took them to her. She never acknowledged the gifts, to me anyway. On the day of Mother's Day, the only people to contact me from my husband's family were my father-in-law and brother-in-law, and they both wished me a happy first Mother's Day. I was beyond grateful and expressed that to them. Shortly after Mother's Day, mother-in-law called me and told me she was upset that I didn't go to her house on Mother's Day. I politely told her that I too was hurt that she didn't even acknowledge me on my first Mother's Day. I also told her how the year prior when I was pregnant, she went out of her way to make comments to me about not being a mother yet when my father-in-law wished me happy almost Mother's Day. I was extremely hurt, but I kept it to myself. I had miscarried 2 babies prior to finally having my baby. I always felt like a mother. Her comments were hurtful. Mother-in-law then proceeded to tell me that she didn't need to acknowledge me on Mother's Day because I'm not her mother. I told her fair enough, but don't expect me or my child to celebrate you, because by your definition, you are not my mother, and you are not the mother of my child. She never apologized for her hurtful comments. We are cordial now a year later, but after that, I decided that I didn't want to spend any Mother's Day with her ever again. I brought this up to my husband, and he told me I need to suck it up, move on, and go over to his mom's. I said no. I am celebrating with my daughter and my own mother, and I have plans during the weekend anyway. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Enjoy your Mother's Day, Mama. Opie's husband seems a little controlling. Trying to force her to go over there just seems weird. Good on her for not going anyways, but this kind of raises some red flags about him. Opie's husband is a mama's boy who never cut the cord. That's going to continue to be a problem, so keep putting your foot down, Opie. He wants to sweep her horrible behavior under the rug so no one rocks the boat. She's an adult who needs to take accountability for her behavior. Not the a-hole. The problem here is your husband, not the a-hole. Yeah, I think the husband needs to stop sucking it up and finally let his balls drop. Not the a-hole. Opie, you do you, boo. Happy Mother's Day. Not the a-hole. You're celebrating with your own mother and your husband is responsible for his. Even if he isn't in town, you can send her flowers and a card, or call if that's available. That's what I suggested, that he could have flowers delivered to her. Send her a gift. Call her. Not my mother, not my responsibility. I'm responsible for one woman in Mother's Day, and that's my own mother. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law nobody forced her to come when she complained about my food? My sister-in-law and I got along really well when my husband and I first met and were first married. Then she took offense when I ended up missing her 30th birthday party because I already had pre-arranged, prepaid plans with a couple of my friends. To clarify, the party was not on her actual birthday. It was 2 weeks earlier, and so I didn't see any reason to check the date with her. but she could not accept me picking them over her, which is how she views it. Even my husband told her it wasn't fair to expect me to lose out, when it's not like I planned it on her actual birthday. But it hasn't been the same since. Ever since, whenever we're hosting my in-laws or whenever we bring food, she criticizes it. My husband and the rest of the family have called her out on being ungrateful. They have told her that she should let the party thing go, but she doesn't. My cooking or baking was never an issue before she got pissed about me not being there for her birthday. She used to ask me for recipes and would cook together for Christ's sake. This past weekend, we hosted a small dinner with family, both sides, to celebrate the impending arrival of mine and my husband's first child. Kind of like a baby shower, but smaller and much less fuss. Sister-in-law was going off on the food again, and I had enough. I told her nobody was forcing her to come if she hated my food so much, and maybe we would all be better off without her constantly crap-talking me through everything, even such a happy occasion. She was pissed. She was so pissed. Even more when only one relative, another sister-in-law, came to her defense or called me out. It's now created tension between the family, and I've been called a witch, an a-hole, a petty witch, all sorts of other stuff, and I feel bad for lashing out the way I did. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Sounds like you handled it perfectly. In the future, her choices are show up and shut up, you win. Stay home, you win. Show up and run her mouth again, in which case you can laugh. Roll your eyes in front of everyone and say, there she goes again. To make things even more fun, start a betting pool for how long it will take her to complain. Or if she has enough standard insults/tells, start a bingo card. The first person who gets bingo using her insults wins. Not the hell, by the way. If family members don't come to your defense when she insults you, they can't complain when you stick up for yourself. Where's your husband in all this? Why isn't he laying down the rules of behavior with his own sister in your own home? I'd stop inviting her. About time she experienced some consequences. Not the hell. This. What is your husband doing to stop this? It's his family, so he needs to make sure this harassment ends. Not the hell.
Update. My female 23 found out my partner, male 26, has been cheating, and I haven't told him I know for the last 7 months. Original post. I found out while he was away for work. A girl he slept with sent me a DM on Instagram. She told me everything and even sent pictures. I remember staring at my screen, my heart pounding, my hands shaking. I felt like my entire world had just shattered. I didn't even respond. I just sat there, drowning in pain. I finally understood what it meant to have a dagger to the heart. Anyway, I made a decision. I wouldn't confront him. Instead, I grieved and mourned our relationship like it had already died. I've been with him for 3 years. I thought everything was going perfectly. I didn't see this coming at all. That entire week, I was alone, cycling through every emotion imaginable. And this might sound crazy, but there was a part of me that almost needed to feel the pain. Like I was clinging to it, letting it consume me. And this may sound emo, but it felt good. I can't explain it, but I felt alive. Maybe this is borderline masochistic, but whatever. This is how I wanted to cope. Meanwhile, the girl kept messaging me. More pictures, more details, receipts, and even videos. It just got worse and worse. It turned into taunts and cursing. It felt like she was desperate for us to break up. But I never responded. Instead, I kept reading her messages over and over, torturing myself with the truth, until at some point, it didn't hurt anymore. I started to feel numb. He was still himself, sweet and caring and affectionate. Honestly, I wouldn't have suspected a thing if that girl didn't DM me. He would sometimes catch on that I was acting off, and I'd blame my hormones or stress from work, and he would buy it. I pretended everything was fine, and he would have noticed something was deeply wrong if he wasn't busy cheating. I think it also helped that we got along very well as roommates and friends. We were still sleeping together. He was a generous lover, too generous even, and it helped me bear it all. I lied, saying my implant fell out, so we began using rubbers, and I got myself tested regularly. Thankfully, I was clean the whole time. I eventually started seeing him as someone I lived with, and we just happened to have sex. It took months, but one day something inside me shifted. The love I had for him started fading. I went through every stage of grief. Now I feel free and lighter. I know I can live without him, and that realization is the most liberating feeling. This is the craziest part. Everything I once found beautiful about him started to look distorted. I started to see his flaws. It was like I was under a spell, adoring and loving this man. And now when I look at him, I'm like, how? This week I'm moving into my own place, and I'm finally breaking up with him. I'm mentally checked out, and I'm at peace with myself. I am okay. I feel a sense of dread, but also relief that I will finally break up with him. It took 7 months to finally get over him. I don't know if I'll tell him that I know he cheated on me or just say, I don't want you anymore, or just ghost him. All I know is, I'm breaking up with him. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. You should absolutely tell him you know he cheated. He shouldn't be absolved. Ghost him and leave the screenshots, but at least let him know that you know he's a piece of turd. I have a private folder on my phone with everything I saved. I was just using it to keep my feelings in check. This is a good idea. Put it all on a USB or SD card. Leave it on the table. Leave a note if you want, but honestly, keep it short and simple if you do. Hope it was worth it. At first I thought you went about it wrong, but you took your time to build your strength and heal. I guess we each have our own journey. That being said, please ghost him and give him no closure. That will mentally mess him up for his betrayal for years to come. My initial goal wasn't to heal, but to feel. I didn't know what I was doing. I ended up healing anyway, and I'm glad it worked out. If I ghosted, it would definitely mess him up. Besides the relationship, we were best friends. This is what my psychologist recommends. Feel it and then let it go. I also think that ghosting is the way to go. If you tell him that you know about the cheating, he will get better at hiding it from the next girl, or even blame it on the girl who DM you. Ghosting without an explanation will make it easier for you. You don't need to explain. You don't need to waste your time listening to how he would change or that it was a mistake, etc. If you don't give him a reason that he can challenge, it will be better for you. You did the work. You deserve your peace. You owe him nothing. He deserves nothing from you. The opposite of love is indifference. Good for you, by the way. Well done, OP. I've been dealing with this alone for so long. Mentally sieving through my thoughts, feeling the pain so deeply. It was therapeutic. I was at rock bottom for a while, and the only way out was up. I am mentally in a better place. I'm starting to enjoy the little things again. I can finally breathe. The way I dealt with this was definitely unconventional. Thankfully, I now do feel indifferent. I am free. And thank you for your kind words. I do deserve peace. Now for the first update. I finally moved out early in the morning, right after he left for work. It was his place, and I didn't have much to begin with, so the move was easy. I'd been slowly filling up my new place over the past month, getting everything ready so I could leave without a hassle. A lot of you suggested I ghost him, but I couldn't. That's just not me. I don't like disappearing on people, even when they deserve it. So instead, I came back that evening and waited for him to get home from work around 7 p.m. I was nervous, but also kind of relieved for it all to finally be over. When he walked in, I was sitting at the dining table wearing my coat. He immediately sensed something was off. He asked me where I was going, and I told him, home. He laughed and said, "But you are home," clearly trying to play it off, but he could tell something was up. Then I sent everything I'd been collecting, screenshots, videos, all of it, to his WhatsApp. He looked confused and asked why I was texting him. And then he opened the messages. I watched the color drain from his face. I didn't think I'd enjoy it, but I did. He went pale, breathing heavily, and just placed his phone on the table, staring at me like I was a ghost. I didn't say anything, just watched him. Then came the begging. He grabbed my hand, apologized over and over, said he didn't mean to cheat, claimed he ended it 3 months ago, that she meant nothing, and how much he loves me and wants to marry me. I told him we're never getting married. It's over, and I didn't say anything else. That's when he broke down crying like a child. I was honestly disgusted. I stood there watching him on his knees, clutching my legs, begging for forgiveness, and I felt nothing. No sympathy, no sadness. Just done. I was completely checked out. I didn't want to say much to him. I just felt numb, and it felt pointless. Eventually, he turned into this emotional, sweaty, sobbing mess. When he went to the bathroom, I grabbed my last backpack and left. It's finally over. I'm grateful I don't love him anymore. It was an unconventional way to get over someone, but it worked for me. Thank you for all of the kind messages. Edit. He texted me from a new number and is sending me pathetic messages. I posted on my profile. That's really brave of you to actually do something about it and leave. But nobody deserves to be cheated on. That is the worst feeling. That kind of betrayal hurts deep. So I hope that you move on and find somebody that will be loyal to you. Good luck on your endeavors. I hate when they say she or he meant nothing to me. In reality, the one you cheated on and hurt meant nothing to you. And not only, he cheated for months, since he ended it 3 months ago. Like OP should be grateful or something. That's when he broke down crying like a child. I was honestly disgusted. I stood there watching him on his knees, clutching my legs, begging for forgiveness, and I felt nothing. No sympathy, no sadness. Just done. I was completely checked out. I didn't want to say much to him. I just felt numb, and it felt pointless. This is how it was with my verbally and emotionally abusive ex. I spent so long basically begging him to be nice to me, begging him to love me, sobbing over how he treated me, and having him mock me for crying, saying I was being manipulative. He had love-bombed me hard in the beginning, so I thought I was madly in love with him. And when he started treating me like crap, I thought I could fix it. Get him to treat me like he did in the beginning. I was young and dumb, but at some point, I finally realized the Mr. Wonderful act at the beginning was just that. An act, and the crappy verbally abusive a-hole was the real him. Eventually, I went numb. He could tell I was starting to check out and would occasionally try love-bombing me again. But I was mentally preparing to leave. When I did, it was the same thing, him sobbing and begging me while I felt nothing. A little disgust, but I didn't feel bad or sad for him. All the love I had for him had already drained out of me by that point. I never knew I could be so cold, but I felt absolutely nothing for him by then. He also did the whole, "I know you still love me" crap, and added that he knew I didn't want to leave, but I was punishing him for being mean to me. He admitted he was mean to me, and thought I would still love him. But I was past giving a damn. I went no contact too. Well done. Now for the second update. So he spammed the heck out of my phone before I could block him. Here's the first string of messages he sent. "I am sorry for cheating on you. Please call me. I miss you already. I didn't know she found you and sent you those videos. I am sorry. Truly OP. I can't live without you. I love you so much. Please pick up the phone. You know you love me. You can't give up on us. You can't let this break us. I messed up. I'm sorry. Please just talk to me. I can't breathe without you here. I swear, OP. Please don't do this to me. Our home feels so empty without you. Please call me. I'd do anything for you, babe. Please just let me talk to you. You're breaking my heart, baby. Please call me. I'm going crazy. Please, please, please." Then tonight he sent me more texts. "You're really not gonna answer me after years together? I never knew you could be heartless. I know I screwed up, but you're treating me like I killed someone. You're overreacting. Your mother accepted your dad after he cheated on her, and look how happy they are. It was a mistake. Mistakes happen. She took advantage of me when I was low, and you're gonna let her win? Congrats. Keep ignoring me. Keep blocking me. I hope whoever you run to next knows you cry when you're overwhelmed and that you shut down when you're scared. I hope they're ready to carry the weight I carried. I carried a lot for you. I was there. For you. And this is how you cut me off? You really think they'll love you once they see the real you? Good luck with that. I'm the only one who stayed through your worst and loved you anyway. I wish I never met you. You ruined me, OP. You made me believe in forever. And now you're gone like I never mattered. You lied. You're a liar. I love you. Please just give us a chance. You're hurting me, babe. I didn't mean what I said. You know how passionate I am when it comes to our love. Please do not answer him. The cheaters are all the same. First they start begging and sorry. Then the blame shift. Then they turn on you and attack you. Then back to sorry again, and the cycle continues. They all use the same MO. I've moved on. I have no intention of communicating with him. He can keep talking to himself like his side piece in my Instagram DMs, but I'm changing my number soon. You shouldn't change it yet. I say this as someone who suffered many years of stalking from an obsessive ex. You need to just mute his messages so you don't get alerts, but you want them to exist in case he goes off the deep end and starts following you or causing issues. It will show an obsessive pattern of behavior. Also, I was advised that they seek a reaction, so changing your number is a reaction. It shows they were having an impact. Complete non-answer and silence is not a reaction, and eventually he will get tired of it and fade away. You are awesome though, OP, and I hope you seek some therapy because I worry you dissociated a bit while sorting through your feelings. Maybe some support could help. But no matter what, you were so brave, and I'm an internet stranger, but I'm so proud of you. You're going to go forth and have an amazing life. Thank you for your kind message. I think you're right, at least in part. This whole process has left me feeling completely numb. There's this strange mix of peace and hollowness. It's like I'm watching everything happen from the outside, trying to feel something, but I just don't care. It's pure apathy. I definitely need therapy, 100%. I need help unpacking all of this with some proper guidance. Once I'm settled properly at my new place, I am definitely getting help. Last story. My husband says I don't do enough to excite him in bed anymore. I asked for a divorce and now he says I'm overreacting. Original post. Hi Reddit, I, 28 female, have been married to my husband, 30 male, for a few years now. Physically, I take care of myself. I go to the gym regularly. I'm in great shape. And I get a lot of attention and compliments from others. I'm currently underweight, but actively building strength and muscle. Despite this, my husband often speaks negatively about me, saying I look awful, that I have a belly, which isn't true, and generally making me feel unattractive. His words have chipped away at my confidence over the years. He also used to belittle my job, telling me I worked too much and didn't spend enough time with him. I ended up cutting back on my hours and slowing down my career to please him, hoping it would help the relationship. But it only backfired. Nothing I did ever seemed to be enough. A few years in, he insisted on opening the relationship. I didn't really want to, but I gave in to keep him happy. Since then, I feel like I've lost myself. I've bent over backward to make this marriage work, sacrificing my confidence, career, and peace of mind. So I finally asked for a divorce. I realized I can't keep living like this, constantly criticized, emotionally drained, and unsupported, but now he says I'm overreacting. He claims I also have the freedom to sleep with other people, and that I'm just playing the victim. But I'm not looking for that kind of freedom. I want a stable, respectful, loving relationship. What really pushed me to walk away was realizing I want children one day. And I can't imagine raising them in an environment like this. So now I'm left wondering, am I really overreacting? Or am I finally doing what's right for myself and my future? Now for the top advice before reading the mini update. He broke you down so he could cheat with permission. Straight up classic abuser move. Run, girl. Screw that guy for real. Opening the relationship seems to be the beginning of the end from what I read on here. But basically, he's abusive and you two aren't compatible. He wants to be free to be with others, and you want a commitment. He is not the father type, because a good father is a good and faithful husband. Leave now while you're still young and can find someone who will love and cherish you. His putting you down is to make you feel like you can't leave. That's bull. You need to leave and find the life you deserve and the loving relationship you deserve. Your message resonates with me. Thank you so much. I guess one thing holding me back is that I'm not in the best financial state, while he, on the other hand, has provided us with a very comfortable life. I'm really scared to try to deal with life on my own and start from scratch. The price you are paying to stay with him far exceeds any financial incentive you gain by staying. Your sanity, self-esteem, hopes and dreams, career, etc. are all far more valuable than some money. You can make money. Divorce this man. Focus on your personal growth and career. A new man will naturally fall into place, but you need to love yourself and know how you want to be loved before anyone else can do that. Please take our advice. Thank God you don't have children with this man. He will likely try to impregnate and trap you now. He will likely try to make you stuck with him. He will likely all of a sudden be very interested in everything about you. It's a trap, a setup. He will revert back to who he really is if you give him another chance. Speaking from experience here, please use protection if you have a moment of weakness and end up in bed with him. Please don't make the same mistake I did. His happiness is not more important than yours. Unless there was a prenup, you're all good, girl. Don't be scared. It's the next logical step at this juncture. There was a post-nup that he made me sign under duress. I get nothing. Those are thrown out all the time. Go talk to some lawyers. Edit. Thank you all so much. Your replies left me crying. I'm genuinely touched. I'll probably come back to read them whenever I start doubting myself, which is basically every day at this point. He made me sign a post-nup that leaves me with nothing. I'm currently completely financially dependent on him. But I'm done. I will start working on my exit plan. I may not have much, but I have clarity. I'm leaving. For me, and for my future kids.
Update. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my fiancé for telling her best friend she was not engaged? Original post. My now ex-fiancé, 30 female and I, 27 male, got engaged 3 weeks ago. We had been dating for 5 years, and I finally saved up enough money to give her the wedding she wanted. A few days ago, we were discussing our guest list, and I asked if she wanted to invite her best friend. Let's call him James, 30 male. James lives in another state, but since they had been friends for 10 years, I even offered to pay for his travel expenses, thinking it would be great to have her best friend at the wedding. She declined, saying it would be too much work to bring him, and that she wanted it to be a family event. This surprised me, because she often referred to James as like family to her. I insisted, but she became annoyed and said, I didn't even tell him we were engaged. That took me by surprise, and when I asked why, she started stonewalling me, so I left her alone. After a couple of hours, I tried again to ask why she hadn't told him about our engagement, but she still refused to explain. I admit, my insecurity got the better of me. In the past, James had confessed that he had feelings for her, but she turned down and friend-zoned him. However, the way she talked about it always made me feel like she kept him as a backup, something both I and her exes had noticed. They were married in an online game, World of Warcraft, always made their characters look like a couple, and whenever she had issues with her exes, he was always there for her. I told her that all of this made me uncomfortable, and if she wasn't planning to tell him about our engagement, she might as well consider herself single, because I wasn't going to marry someone who couldn't be honest. I admit, I was being immature, but what she did next was even more so. She texted him while showing me her phone and wrote something like, "Hey, just so you know, I was engaged, but not anymore," and sent it to him. At that point, I told her to pack her things and leave my house. Since she left, she's been calling me, but I've refused to answer. My mom even called me, saying that my ex had called her and told me I was an a-hole for ending things over such a ridiculous reason. So, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. There is a reason she won't tell her best friend that she plans on getting married.
I mean, most women think getting married is one of the biggest things in life and tells everyone she knows. Unless it will put a damper on something. You know, boyfriends hate hearing their girlfriend is getting married. The night I proposed, I am pretty sure that my wife was on the phone before I even heard a yes, with as many people as she could think to call. Not the a-hole. She wanted to keep her backup plan intact. Maybe OP should reach out to James and tell him this, along with copies of any texts she sent to OP confirming this. But that might be my bias talking, because if my best friend just kept me around as a potential backup, I'd kick them to the curb. So your ex-fiancé didn't want to tell her boyfriend about you. Unless you're poly, sounds like a great reason to end an engagement. If you want to confirm that she was cheating, offer to meet up with her for lunch. When you get there, tell her if she wants any chance with you, she needs to unlock her phone, and you read all of her messages between him and her on all media. I'm sure you will find more than enough to confirm that leaving is the best choice. Mini update. Hey guys, I made some dinner and I think I'm going to go with the commenter's advice. I'm going to ask her to meet up and ask to see their messages. And for my mom, I'm already low contact with her, but I'm going to make my decisions after I clear everything up. So I'm kind of promising an update. Now for the first update. Hey guys, I just got home after talking to my still ex-fiancé, and since a lot of people asked for an update, here it is. But before that, I want to clarify a few things. As I mentioned in my original post, I pay for the house since I bought it before we started dating, and I asked her to move in because it was closer to her job. I work from home, I'm in tech, but she had to commute, which is why I also paid for a car. Her salary wasn't great, and I thought I was helping out as her partner. I genuinely thought she was the one. Despite everything, she's smart, funny, and we had chemistry, but I felt betrayed. Now for the update. We met at a coffee shop under the pretense of discussing how to save our relationship, or at least that's what she thought. As soon as we sat down, I asked to see the messages between her and James. She got defensive right away and told me she had deleted everything. I asked to see her phone anyway. She started to ugly cry, asking me to stop. By then, I had already decided I wasn't staying in a relationship, but I was still curious. It took about 20 minutes of crying and even a waitress asking if she was okay before she finally handed over her phone. I went through the messages. There wasn't any cheating in the sense of nudes or love confessions, but what I found still hurt. There were a lot of messages between them talking bad about me. They criticized my hobbies, I like video games and pro wrestling, and called me not a real man because of them. But two things stung the most. One, she had told him I was having trouble getting hard, which she found frustrating. Two, she complained about feeling stuck in a relationship. Yes, I was having issues in bed, but that was because I was grieving. My father passed away 6 months ago. As for the stuck comment, I remember telling her that when she got married, if she wanted, she could leave her job and I would provide for both of us. I don't know if she misunderstood that, but I guess it was related to her feeling stuck. After I finished reading, she started giving excuses for what she said, claiming James was like a therapist for her. She asked, "Don't you complain about me to your friends?" I replied, "No, I don't." She started crying again. I took a deep breath and said, "Just give me the ring back." She hesitated but handed it over. I stood up and told her to delete my number and not to bother me anymore. I called her mom and asked her to come pick up her daughter's things. Her mom is a good person, and I'm realizing as I write this that I'm going to miss her. She understood my decision to end things and didn't ask too many questions, which I appreciated. As for my own mom, I didn't bother calling her. I blocked her for unrelated reasons. I realized she's never really had my back in anything, and I've been trying too hard to save a relationship that's already failed. Before I wrap this up, I just want to clarify. I was never against her having male friends or any type of friends. People will cheat whether they have friends or not. I remember my dad telling me when I was a teenager, opportunity makes the thief, but I don't agree with that. Anyway, I've got the next 2 weeks off work, so I'm going to figure out what to do with the wedding money, drink some booze, play video games, and watch Monday Night Raw later. Peace. Edit. A couple of people have asked about the car. It's a 2015 Nissan Versa and she crashed it twice, both times rear-ending someone. I've never liked that car. The engine's weak, the interior feels cheap, and overall, it's just bad. So honestly, she can keep that piece of junk. I'd probably have better luck throwing it off a cliff than selling it. Dodged a ballistic missile. She did not want to be stuck with you. Then why cry for a marriage she doesn't want? Oh, but she's going to miss the wedding. That's what she wanted. Let's see if her best friend/boyfriend can provide her with one. Oh man, there are 4 billion women in this planet. Be patient. Yours will find her way to you, but not this BOS. And a car payment, the free housing, utilities and food. Don't forget that. Damn, that Redditor who recommended handing over her phone was spot on. Way to dodge that bullet. Your someone is out there. Second update. Her mom called me a few hours ago to check in and ask when she could come pick my ex's stuff. We also talked about the car, and she pretty much forbid me from letting her daughter keep it. Her reasons were, 1. I paid for it. 2. My ex wouldn't be able to maintain it. So I'm going to keep the car until I can sell it. God help me. Also, some people are confused why could it be a real man for playing games, and yet my ex and James played World of Warcraft. Honestly, that's on me for not being clear enough. The real man comments were more about my pro wrestling hobby than the gaming, but there were some messages where they mocked me for playing certain games, like the Life is Strange series. I remember one message from James where he said something like, "How could a grown man play such a girly game and cry?" Yes, I cried while playing Life is Strange. I also cried during Red Dead Redemption 2. The I'm afraid cutscene still makes me emotional. Guess I'm just a crybaby. I also want to thank everyone who messaged me to talk about wrestling and games. It really helped take my minds off things. I haven't replied to everyone yet, but I plan to. If anything else happens, I'll let you guys know. Be good, people. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to wake my girlfriend up for work, which led her getting fired? I, 26 male, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend Jess, 28 female, for 3 years. Jess and I live together. Jess is not a morning person. This is primarily due to the fact that she's up until 2 or 3 a.m. every day on her phone, despite having to wake up at 8 a.m. I've tried to get her to start going to bed earlier so she could wake up on time, but she says that would leave her no time to do her own things. Seeing as she only works until 4 p.m., this is patently false, but I decided not to press the issue. Generally, I have to wake Jess up. I wake up at 5, run for an hour, get home at 6, shower, eat breakfast, and use my computer a bit. I'll start waking Jess up at around 7:30. I fully understand it's ridiculous to have to wake a 20-year-old woman up, but I honestly don't mind, or at least I wouldn't mind, if it weren't for the fact that waking Jess up is a nightmare. I start by gradually turning on the lights at 7:30, starting with a bedside lamp. Then I begin gently trying to wake her up. If she gets up around this time, she'll go to the bathroom and then I'll go back to the room to find her asleep again. The worst part about waking her up is she's so combative in the morning. She'll use expletives directed at me, insulting me, and then later when I bring up her words, she'll just say, "I was sleepy and out of it. What do you want me to do?" Well, last Friday, she pushed things a bit too far. I was waking Jess up as usual, and when she walked past me to go to the bathroom, she made this exaggerated dry heaving sound at me. Then she said, "You freaking smell. Take a shower." I had already taken a shower and always keep good hygiene. That evening, I told her that our deal with me waking her up every day was done. I was done with her tantrums, done with her insults, and done with her frankly stupid facial expressions with how out of it she was. I told her that I'm not moving a finger to make sure she gets up for work on time. She was naturally upset about this, but I said she could wake herself up. Today was Monday, and lo and behold, she overslept and was over an hour late. Since she had already been written up twice during her probationary period for her job, this was an automatic firing. Around noon, she called me incoherently yelling about how I got her fired. I had to hang up on her to get back to work. When I got home, she immediately started shrieking at me more and then demanded half my salary until she found a better job. I feel like making her go cold turkey on waking up might have been too sudden, and apparently, she really liked the job she had. Should I have at least tried to wake her up? Boss, I'ma be real. She just sounds abusive. Not only does she sound abusive, but also incredibly incompetent. You're not her mom, not the a-hole. Even a mom or dad shouldn't have to wake up a 28-year-old adult every morning to get to work. Not the a-hole, and she sounds pretty toxic. Are you sure this is a relationship that makes you happy? When I filed for divorce, moved out, etc., ex and I still talked frequently. One day she asked, "Are you happy now?" I answered honestly, I am less unhappy now than any time in the last 5 years. Obviously, that was the length of our marriage. I think she had an epiphany with that, and I didn't hear from her again really. I remember when I was married and my then husband and I saw an old married couple, and he said something like how romantic it was to be married for that long, and that he couldn't wait for us to grow old together. I remember feeling dread wash over me. The realization that I would be in this hell for 60 more years? 60 more years with him felt like a prison sentence. But that comment forced me to really look at my life and marriage and make a decision on if I was willing to keep being miserable forever or not. I left him about a year later. Even at my saddest point since my divorce, it's still happier than my best day with him. I'm so glad I chose happiness. Last story. Am I the a-hole for asking my girlfriend to move out because she started a career as an influencer and stopped respecting my privacy? I've been living with my girlfriend for 2 years. In the beginning, everything was great. We got along well, spent time together, and had a good balance between our personal lives and our relationship. But a few months ago, she started working on becoming an influencer. At first, it was just a fun hobby, posting some pictures, making a few videos, nothing too serious. I supported her and was happy she found something she enjoyed. But things quickly got out of hand. Our apartment has now become her personal studio. Every corner needs to be perfect for photos, and every room is a potential background for vlogs. When I came home tired from work, all I want to do is relax. But she immediately puts a camera in my face because she's filming content. Even our private conversations are often recorded without me knowing, and later I find them posted in her videos. It got really awkward when she shared part of a conversation where I talked about something deeply personal, which I didn't expect to be made public. I've tried talking to her about it, but she always brushes it off, saying I'm overreacting and that is just part of her job. She says I should be more supportive. Over time, this has really worn me down. I feel like there's no space left in our home where I can relax without worrying about being filmed or photographed. A few days ago, after yet another incident where I was caught on camera, I decided to have a serious talk with her. I told her that I understand her influencer career is important to her now, but for me, it's becoming too much. I suggested that maybe she should consider moving out, not because I want to break up, but because I need some privacy in a place where I don't feel like I'm always being watched. She flipped out. She called me selfish, accused me of not supporting her career, and said I was trying to control her. She even accused me of sabotaging her success instead of being proud of her achievements. Now we're barely speaking, and I feel like my boundaries and needs aren't being respected at all. I understand that her job excites her, but am I really the a-hole for just wanting some privacy and space in my own home? Am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole here at all. She's delusional to accuse you of that. She's showing her character not respecting your boundaries. Exactly. It should be so that when I come home, I have some privacy. She could rent an apartment specifically for filming to keep some sense of privacy. If she needs to film you, then she's not the influencer. You are. What has she discussed with you about sharing her ad revenue and other income from these videos? You can be supportive, but my significant other doesn't come to my job and do my job for me. That's a wild expectation on her part. Being supportive would be like sacrificing half the kitchen table to set up as her backdrop or something, so it looks like she has an office. She can just fake the backdrop. Drop this chick ASAP. This girl needs constant attention and validation. Your compliance is not requested. It is being demanded, despite your legitimate concerns. Get rid of her. It's a very difficult decision for me because I love her so much, and I wish we could work things out. You are not the a-hole for wanting privacy in your own home. It's completely reasonable to expect a living space free from constant filming and recording, especially without your explicit consent. Exactly. Home should be a place where we can maintain a certain level of anonymity, not a space where we're constantly exposed online.